Good evening, everybody. Oh my fucking god. That's literally like the only thing that's going through my head right now with this film. Is just, oh my fucking god. I don't understand. I really, really don't understand my own thoughts. This stream is essentially my initial reaction to this film. I do intend to do another review, a more in-depth review, I think. But the truth is, right now, I really don't know. I'm very confused, and I'm going to explain to you guys why in just a second. But first, as we're not playing a game or anything too exciting today, I think we're going to play a little bit of music in the background. I'll get up a bit of Lucas King, always reliable. Depends where his music is. The one that I want to find. Revan themes. It's obviously not in Revan themes. Non-Star Wars. It's definitely in there. General Star Wars themes. Ambience node. Where did I save it? What is this? I can't believe I've done this to myself. Wow. Oh, here we go. This is the one. Gonna have that really, really quiet in the background. Will there be spoilers? It's hard for me to not really explain. It's hard for me to not explain the way I feel without any kind of spoilers. So if you want to go into this film 100% clean, 100% fresh, then I would recommend clicking off. But I'm not going to spoil anything major, any massive cameos or any big shocks or surprises. I don't intend to do that. But there will be. If I do apologize if I slip up, if I get into a rant. And there's my doorbell, obviously, right on time. Yeah, so I do apologize, but I'm not intending to spoil anything huge. But we'll see. But if you don't want any spoilers at all, then I would recommend clicking off. Okay, so we'll get a bit of music playing in the background. Guys. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat. I am in mental disarray. I don't know how to feel. Right? I've seen this movie twice now. I saw it at midnight last night. I want to get a better background image than this. I don't want my desktop as the background image, which is irritating me. While I'm talking, I'll try and find something better on Wallpaper Engine. I've seen the movie twice. Also, but wait, before we start, I'll say hello to the people in the stream. I can't English. I'm also really tired. I've had about 3 hours sleep in 2 days. Striking Talon, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you as always, dude. Baron Kalich, I don't recognize your name, but welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining me today. Strange Clouds, nice to see you again. I hope you're still here, but if not, I hope you enjoy the film. Natasha, as always, the llama, welcome to the stream if you're still here. Ken Mullins, how you doing, Ken? How's things going with you? Miles, your man said, hey, say hello to him from me as well. Welcome to the stream, Miles. Girls with Sabers, hello there. Welcome to the stream. Oh, we've already had a conversation about this. Many. Okay. So, now I'll get into it as best I can. I've seen this film twice. I saw it at midnight last night. And I saw it no less than an hour ago. I literally just came out of the movie. I got back and instantly started the stream. And they are both very, very different experiences. Last night, I sat there and watched the film. And it was the worst movie-going experience I've ever had in my life. I sat there in disbelief at what I was watching. The story made no sense. The character arcs, the setups from everything that has been established within the lore is thrown under the bus. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. For the first time in my life, I wanted to walk out. Although I didn't make a scene of it because I had a load of my friends there. But I wanted to walk out of the movie. Every second beyond the halfway point of the film was painful for me last night, and I've never experienced anything like it. It was well and truly baffling. Um, it was to the point where I honestly said I hated it. Like, it was one of the worst films I've ever watched. And not just Star Wars movies, I mean worst films I've ever watched. I watched it again today, and I'm sitting in the cinema, and I'm noticing there's a very different reaction from myself. There was things happening in the movie that didn't evoke any emotional response in the original viewing, that was getting an emotional response from my second viewing. And I sat there around 20 minutes to go, thinking, hang on a minute, this is strange, because I'm actually enjoying it this time. At that point in the film yesterday, I was saying to myself, I hate it, I never want to watch it again, and I hope it's decanonized and they redo it. It was a full-on Game of Thrones thing where I just did not want it to exist. That's how bad I felt it was yesterday. And so I'm in a state of confusion at the moment. A real state of confusion. Because it's like I'm split. As Kylo Ren says, I'm being torn apart, right? I really don't know how to feel. But even then, if there's anything I'm going to say with even the second viewing, which was a lot better for me, it's still not a very good movie. It's still not a very good ending. And it's honestly, it's like I think I've said this to somebody before, but it's like a 16-year-old, an angry teenager, has written a fan fiction. It's not what you expect a Star Wars movie to be. The ending of the Skywalker saga, it's not what you expect from it. Because there is absolutely no respect to the original trilogy. There is no respect to the original two films in the sequel trilogy. And it's just perplexing how Disney, Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, the crew, how they've all stood by and thought, yeah, this is a fantastic way to wrap up a 42-year-old, incredible 42-year-old saga that has defined people's lives. So let's just find a different wallpaper at the moment. Let's find something a bit more relevant. I'm not sure if there would be anything on here, to be honest. Oh god. Who else we got in the chat? Marvin, obviously. Natasha, you didn't get to watch it today. You're too ill. I'm so sorry, Natasha. I'm watching it Sunday, so you're gonna spoil it. I'll try not to spoil anything huge. Anything huge. Davitsu, welcome to the stream. It's the worst Star Wars ever. I felt that way on the first viewing. I really, really did. James, welcome to the stream. You haven't seen it yet, but you think it's you heard it's terrible. Yeah, it's very, very polarizing is the word that I'm looking for here. It's very, very polarizing. So I'm going to hope maybe there's a Rise of Skywalker one here. Maybe. Who knows? Ooh. Oh, that might be good. Oh god. So where do I start, guys? Where do I start? Here we go. This is more relevant, right? One sec. Yes! As my parents talking to me. Oh god, right. I need to get rid of my background. You know what, I'll just leave it like that. Okay. I don't know where to begin. I really don't know where to begin. Aside from that overview, I don't know how to really start this. You love the Techromancer Revan and Bastila. It's good, right? It's really, really cool. I've got it on my phone. It's my wallpaper and everything. Where did you find your wallpapers? There's an app called Wallpaper Engine on Steam. It's very cheap. Ethan Eastman, how about the Knights of Ren? Did they have a big part in the movie? By the way, guys, if you want to ask me any questions, please go ahead. I'll try and answer as best I can. while trying to give my initial summary of the film. This is very new to me doing this live. Usually I have a lot of time to think about it and write it down. So bear with me. The opening of the movie is awesome. And I watched this opening and I thought, holy shit, like this is good stuff. You know, it's really hard for me not to spoil it. Really, really difficult for me not to spoil it or say anything. But the film, okay, guys, there is going to be spoilers in this stream. So if you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, please click away. I don't think I can do this without spoiling a single thing. The film opens up spectacularly with Kylo Ren going and finding Palpatine. It's the cinematography, the audio is absolutely mind-blowing. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But instantly, you feel there's something wrong. Because it's like they're answering 50 million questions within the first 2 minutes of the film. And it feels like, it's like you're already set up for a film that's going to be terribly paced. And it is. Truth be told, the movie, the pacing is diabolical. It is very, very bad. And that is not because it's mainly due to the fact that there is too much going on in the film that they can't get enough in to tell the right kind of story. If I look in the chat, one sec. Superboy Lily, hey guys, how was the fall of Skywalker? Oh, Superboy Lily. Natasha, is it worth spending the 20 quid on tickets and popcorn? If you want to, you've got to make your own mind up with this film, Natasha, so go for it. Jeff the Killer, welcome to the stream, dude. Structurally, it's a mess. What are we talking about? A course correction that crashed into a wall, me. So yeah, it starts incredibly. But within the first 2 minutes, you're left thinking, hang on a second. So we've just finished The Last Jedi, right? We're 2 years after The Last Jedi. And the first thing is, the dead speak. This is literally the first line in the crawl. The dead speak, a voice from beyond, with a message of revenge from the late Emperor Palpatine. And you're thinking, oh, damn, this is a cool crawl. Like, this is interesting. And then instantly, Kylo Ren's at Palpatine's feet and is doing exactly what he wants to do. And I'm just there like, this is really cool. But, like, hang on a minute. This is Emperor Palpatine who died for Anakin's redemption 4 movies ago. And yet he's just chilling on this planet. By the way, which is the home world of the Sith, right? Exegol. Now, I don't know if that's going to be contextualized into something like Ziost or maybe Malachor. But I was really confused why they had to make a new planet when they had all these incredible planets already in the lore. Like Korriban, like Ziost, like Dromund Kaas. It did look a little bit like Dromund Kaas, actually. But I didn't see the point of it needing a new planet to really introduce this Sith homeworld that was all lightning and you know, just darkness. But he's the Emperor. And Kylo's thrown in. He's thrown into the film. And instantly, I tap my hands at instantly, this is the same Kylo Ren that had just, should we say, risen like a phoenix in The Last Jedi. He had killed his master. He had shaken off the control that people had over him and made his own decisions. And the first thing that happens in this film is Kylo Ren bowing down to the Emperor. And I'm instantly like, okay, so The Last Jedi has just kind of been disregarded within the first 2 minutes of the movie. Or Kylo's character arc that was established in The Last Jedi has just been completely disregarded straight away. And it doesn't make sense to me, because if I'm honest with you, Kylo Ren is the best thing about this film. Kylo Ren to me is the best thing about this entire trilogy, and he is butchered. And I mean Mitra Surik level butchered in this film. His entire character arc is completely thrown in the trash for some absolute bullshit. But it's bullshit, essentially. And the thing that irritates me so much is that there is glimpses of a really good story in there, but they can't tell it because there's not enough time, and they just cram it into this little 2-hour space, and there's no development. There's absolutely no development for Kylo Ren in this film. It's so jarring and so sudden. Like, he goes from this big, bad, evil monster to, just saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go back to the light side within an hour and a half of the movie. With no progression to get there. Like, there is no progression in his character arc to get him from the proud, risen like a phoenix, Kylo Ren at the end of Last Jedi. There's no progression from that to, I'm going to give up everything that I've been working towards and turn to the light side. It just happens. It just really kind of jarringly occurs. People are saying to put spoilers in the stream. Should I do that? I don't even know how to edit the title. I think I kind of need to go into my home and do something from there. But the beginning, it's very... The one thing you can say about this movie is that it's gorgeous. It is a beautiful film. And it's instantly established at the beginning. The whole scene of going into Exegol, the lighting and the mood of it is just... Oh. And hearing Palpatine's voice again is just... Oh. But when you think about it, it's just like... It's fan pandering. Palpatine being in this movie is so utterly not needed, and you can feel it as well within the entire arcs of these characters, that it just feels forced. It doesn't feel like a natural progression from The Force Awakens to The Rise of Skywalker. And that, aside from Kylo Ren, the Emperor is the second worst thing about this film. As good as his performance is, as good as Palpatine's villainous nature is, there's absolutely there's no context whatsoever about Palpatine in this movie, apart from tiny little bits of small dialogue, but that doesn't answer anything. I'm just going to change the title of the stream because there is going to be spoilers in it now. I've decided that I need to talk spoilers. Just make sure people come in and know what they're expecting. Instantly from the beginning, Kylo comes down and Palpatine says, I've been every voice inside your head. Snoke was a clone, blah, 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 blah. I've been waiting for so long. Also, I'm still alive, but I'm not going to tell you why. It's just, the power of the dark side is unnatural, and yeah. That's literally the explanation for why Palpatine is alive. And the entire story arc of The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, all explained within 2 minutes of the movie. Snoke was a clone. I'm alive. The power of the dark side is unnatural. And I want to give you my
Revan
empire.
was power. It was like staring into the heart of the Force.
That was everything plot-wise about Palpatine. In reference to the past, in reference to the stories gone by. And I just want to say thank you to Girls with Sabers for donating $5. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for what you do. Thank you. And likewise, thank you for you guys as well. You make some great content. And thank you for listening to me, my rants after I came out of the movie. I really do appreciate it, but thank you. Where was I? Yeah, so all of Palpatine's history... This is like a Snoke thing, but it's even worse because Palpatine is like the ultimate villain of Star Wars. And Snoke was new. And the context that you want from Snoke is, where did you come from? Why are you here? What is your purpose? Palpatine, you're like, what? You died to give redemption to Vader. Like, your story ended. So there's got to be context why you're back, how you're back. And there isn't any. He literally recites, and I'm not even kidding, he recites the line from the Opera House to Anakin, where he says the the power of the dark side is identical. The power of the dark side is unnatural. And I just thought, that's a bit lazy. That's really, really lazy. And let me just say hello to new people in the stream today. James Carmichael, welcome to the stream, dude. Alexandra Antonenko, welcome to the stream. Ahsoka was in there, or is it a lie? Ahsoka is in the movie for 2 seconds. Her voice is heard at the end of the film, which makes absolutely no fucking sense. I heard Anti-Logic that the sequels could have been like 50 years after. It could have been. Every single JJ movie leaves important question unanswered. This one definitely does. Miriam, welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming by. I really do appreciate it. As Star Wars historian, what is Sheev? Where is Sheev? Why is Sheev? That's a great triple question to ask. There's no context behind Palpatine. He's back, and he's giving Kylo Ren the First Order. But it's not the First Order anymore because Palpatine's been manipulating everything from the shadows, and he miraculously has this fleet that's the biggest thing that's ever been seen in the history of the Star Wars universe, just chilling in the unknown regions. So, did Snoke know about that? Was Snoke in the loop? But Palpatine created Snoke, and it's a clone. The Snoke thing is a clone, but you can't be a clone if you're not something initially, right? You need to be something for it to be cloned. So what was Snoke in the first place? Was it Palpatine? That's not explained. It's it's literally just a vat with Snokes with their tongues out in water. And he says, I created him. So that's your throwaway excuse for Snoke's story. And then obviously it goes on to, the dark side's unnatural, that's why I'm still alive. And then you see Palpatine and he's all decrepit, like he's literally rotting away. Like his fingers are bones and stuff like that. He's on machines. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is like, I love Palpatine. This is why I wanted this film to be incredible. And I'm just sitting there like, what? Like, come on, give us some answers. And I thought, okay, it's only the first 5 minutes. Maybe we'll get some context by the end of the film. And by the end of the film, you're left none the wiser what he was trying to achieve, why he was there, how he survived, and its impact on the original trilogy. Because if Palpatine, and I had this argument with my friend when I left the cinema, is that he says, I died once before. And that's why Anakin technically did bring balance to the Force, but no, he didn't. Palpatine is alive. It doesn't matter if he died on the Death Star. He came back, so therefore Anakin's redemption and him bringing balance to the Force was non-existent. Anakin didn't achieve anything. Anakin died without bringing any balance to the Force, and Sheev, ran away into the sunset, a little bit damaged with his fingers being bones. Like, the whole overarching Palpatine plotline was just shit. That's the only way I can put it. It's very terribly written. I don't get how they can read this and think that this was the best way to conclude the story. But that's just the beginning, guys. That's just the beginning. Not cloned from anyone. Is there stuff in the movie at the end? Palpatine wins. Is it true that what I've been hearing about Rey? I don't know what you've been hearing about Rey, Airy Storm. Emma Richardson, I saw it earlier. You loved it. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And I'm really glad people are enjoying it. Because it's clear there's a lot of passion that's gone into the film. And I'm glad that people aren't hating on it profusely, because it means that Star Wars will keep going. But I'm just very, 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 very split at the moment. Hombre, welcome to the stream, dude. A hot mess. You can't say you didn't have fun. Second time round, I had a lot of fun. Jude Boone, he used his Sith holocron spooch from cloning a Shazam. He made a galaxy-ending fleet. Yeah. All of us, there's just this miraculous, the most powerful fleet that's ever been. Out of nowhere. Where does that come from? Was that already on Exegol? Did the Sith already have that? Then why were they Star Destroyers? Why were they Imperial? And I'm just... if he was controlling the First Order all this time from the background, and he had ships that had Death Star cannons on them, why are you building Starkiller Base? What is the point of Starkiller Base? If you have thousands of Death Star Destroyers, what was the point of Starkiller Base? It is very convoluted, and the plot is like, and that's what I said. The base plot of the movie is just ridiculous, and it's never resolved. It never makes sense, and you're left feeling kind of empty. Because you're thinking there's going to be this massive resolution, Palpatine surviving. There's got to be this big reason why Anakin never brought balance to the Force in the end. And there isn't. He's just back, and he just dies again. How is that the ultimate ending to the Skywalker saga? I do not know. Anyway, let me read the chat again. John Stepp, wrong type of passions. Theirs is money, not Star Wars. I mean... I can agree with you to some degree there. Thank you for the mental disorder of tormenting voice in my head. I killed you in the last Jedi due to that torment. Aries Storm, how was the Rey with the folding lightsaber? It was a vision. I deliberately made sure I went in with very low expectations. Pretty sure that's the reason you enjoyed it. I've heard a lot of people say that same thing. I really have. He was lying. He was loving it when he left the cinema. Loved it. Yeah, I wish I was lying. I wish I did love it when I left the cinema. I really, really do. The leaked plot I got like a month ago. And that's another thing that absolutely baffles me. This is one of the biggest movies of the past decade. And they managed to reveal the entire plot 3 months before it's out. 3 months? I get a week maybe. Or a couple of days, but 3 months? The entire plot in almost perfect detail? It's ridiculous. They managed to keep Baby Yoda a secret all that time. But they can't keep the plot of one of the biggest movies ever in secret. I really don't know. They wanted to make it dramatic, not to make sense. That is true. And another thing that really irritates me is like the pandering to memers. I was sitting there like, sure, I love me a meme. I love memes. But they purposely made Palpatine a meme. Like, he's sitting there at the end going, do it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, sure, it's a nice reference, but you're sacrificing plot to throw in memes? Are you serious? And he's like going, good. Like, but that's just memes. Where's the story? Oh, God. Silo Star Wars actually posted what Colin Trevorrow's episode 9 was supposed to be. I mean, I've heard stories about what his story is. Jason Ward came out and gave some big plot of what Colin Trevorrow's story was, and apparently it wasn't true. It honestly was. It was memeing itself. It really, really was. And I watched The Last Jedi before this, and the disrespect this film shows The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson is baffling. It really is baffling. And I'm seeing people on Twitter, I'm seeing reviewers say, well, I don't know what you're on about. Like, there's this massive segment in the film that respects Ryan and Last... It doesn't. At all. Almost every single thing that Rian Johnson did, J.J. Abrams tries to wreck on it. Tries to explain it. Tries to cover it up. And I'm just... Like... you guys know my opinion on The Last Jedi. I'm very hit or miss. I don't think it was the greatest film. I think there's a lot of mistakes. But this film is an insult to The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is honestly fucking incredible in comparison to this movie. And there's one specific moment where I just laughed. because it's like the biggest slap in the face to the previous film. Rey's decided that she needs to do what Luke does and goes to the island to exile herself. And she goes to throw the lightsaber away, like Luke does in The Last Jedi. And Luke's Force Ghost comes out of the TIE fighter that she crashed on, that's on flames, is lit up in flames, grabs the lightsaber, and basically goes, "What the hell are you doing throwing this away?" And if that is not a direct reference to the whole scene where Luke throws it away and everybody's like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" If that isn't trying to, like, say, "Fuck you, Rian Johnson," like, Luke wouldn't throw away that lightsaber, I don't know what it is, if it's not that. Because it clearly is just that. It's just a massive middle finger to Rian Johnson. Which is a massive shame. Because you would assume that these 3 films would have respect between them. That they would have a cohesive story where these directors have worked with each other to create an incredible ending. And it's like they're playing tug of war with each other. You know, like The Force Awakens, it sets things up. It creates questions. What J.J. Abrams does, Rian Johnson comes in, he does something very different, and I don't think it was as insulting as what J.J. Abrams does to Rian Johnson in The Rise of Skywalker, but he does, I think, throw away a lot of what was set up in The Force Awakens for dramatic effect. But he does it with a subtlety, with a sense of shock, and also it makes sense for certain story arcs, the way he throws certain things away. Whereas this, it's just a middle finger. It's just a massive middle finger. And I'm really left baffled how Lucasfilm and Disney could not clearly see this tug of war between creatives in general. It's just, it leaves me perplexed. It really does. It leaves me perplexed. Let me have a quick look at the chat. I wonder what it would be if they didn't swap director mid-trilogy. I don't think it's got anything to do with swapping directors. If you're going to make a trilogy, stay the course, right? Don't fight each other for the superior story or for pandering to fans, which this film does ridiculously. If you're going to go with, like, if Lucasfilm are going to go with The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson's vision, keep going with that vision. Don't retcon everything. And it was the same with Rian Johnson's Last Jedi. Don't keep going with The Force Awakens vision. Don't retcon everything. Like, it's just a battle. It's like a fucking war zone of movies. And you would think that Disney would sit down right at the beginning and say, let's plan this out. Which, by the way, they're constantly lying about in press. Constantly saying, we've had this plan from the beginning. This was always planned. Palpatine was always planning to come back. No, he fucking wasn't. No, he was not, Kathleen Kennedy. Palpatine was not intended to come back in this trilogy. And if he was, it was not in this way. It's just lies. Even Adam Driver, the poor guy, he's the best performer in this film. He does a fantastic job. Has to lie in press interviews about how good the writing is, how incredible the story was, all this incredible stuff about Ben's redemption and his journey. None of that's in the film. So what, he had to lie in the press junkets just to draw in viewers? Like, come on. Is Rey still a daughter of nobody's? Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine. Did they just use the most popular fan theories to make this movie? It feels that way at times. It really, really does. Once a die is set, you cannot reset it. Yeah, I agree with you there. What's up, gamers? Welcome to the stream, Boneless. How you doing, dude? Nice to see you. Can someone please tell me if Rey is still a daughter of nobody's? Well, this is the thing. This is another massive fuck you to Rian Johnson. Yes, they are daughters. She is the daughter of nobody's. But that nobody happens to be the son of Emperor Palpatine. But he's no one. So we're still respecting The Last Jedi. Because he is technically telling the truth in The Last Jedi. But he is no one. But he's only the son of Emperor Palpatine. And you're thinking, oh, okay. That's the son of Emperor Palpatine. The Emperor of the universe. And his son has absolutely nothing to do with anything in the story apart from being Rey's father and then just gets stabbed by some dude with a knife. What? What? Like, there's no context? When did Palpatine have a son? Why is his son, I'd assume, completely powerless? Why does he not use his son for this plan? Where is his son during the original trilogy when he's controlling everything? And then why does all of a sudden he want Rey instead of his son? Like, it's a full-on Revan Vanna moment. Like, if you guys know Revan's plot, Revan Ambassador's son has absolutely no force potential. Like, he's useless and becomes a politician. And that's just a massive cop-out and it's shit. They do exactly the same thing with the Empress child. I'm just really, really confused. I'm really, really confused. Abrams said that he would not retcon The Last Jedi. What in the world? He does. He does so much retconning in this film. It bewilders me. It bewilders me. Additionally, like, I don't want to go through each. I'll try and go into like mega details in my review. So Palpatine's back. We've clearly established that Anakin didn't bring balance to the Force. Darth Vader, you know, killing the Emperor, redeeming himself, bringing balance, never occurred. The Emperor's still alive. Doesn't matter how he's still alive, he's still alive. So no matter what people say about him bringing balance, he didn't bring balance. Because the Emperor, from the very ending of Return of the Jedi, has been scheming. So he didn't bring any balance. And they have the audacity to not have Anakin Skywalker contribute to this film in any way, shape, or form. The main character of Star Wars, the face of Star Wars, the most integral being in Star Wars, is reduced to a fucking voice cameo. That not only a voice cameo that completely disregards his entire story. Now, I don't remember the exact quote, but what he says is, Rey, bring balance to the Force just like I did. I heard that, and I just couldn't believe it. Bring balance to the Force just as I did, as the Emperor stands there about to take over the universe again. Sorry, Anakin, what balance did you restore? So, JJ, sorry. How did you read balance in this at all? That is probably the thing that pisses me off the most, is that Anakin is completely excluded from this movie. The prequels, supposedly this movie was to tie the prequels and the sequels together. The prequels are completely disregarded in this film. They might as well not exist in the Star Wars universe anymore. They might as well just be thrown in the trash, according to this movie. You wanted prequel music, guys. God, the trailers really got us pumped up, didn't it? Duel of Fates, Battle of Heroes. You want prequel music? Well, fuck you. There isn't any. There isn't a single bit of prequel music in this film. That might be a lie. I think there might have been tiny bits. I think Anakin's betrayal is played for a very, very short moment of time. But I'd need to rewatch it again and really think about the music in that regard. I'm just going to quickly read the chat again, as I missed a few things. They should have kept George Lucas involved. I mean, apparently George Lucas was involved and he was consulted with this film. I cannot imagine George Lucas seeing this script going, yeah, that's a great way to end my fucking story. No. I can only imagine George Lucas spitting on this story and thinking, what an absolute travesty. Who is his son? Why is he his son? Exactly, who is his son? What's happened to him? Why has his son just been completely disregarded in the entire Star Wars universe? Yet the granddaughter is integral. Baffled. Craig Rodney, welcome to the stream, dude. Any mention of Ahsoka Tano? Ahsoka shows up as a disembodied voice at the end of the film for a couple of seconds. Who's Palp's son's mum? Yeah. Who is the wife of Emperor Palpatine? Did he just knock up some girl in a brothel? Is this Game of Thrones level shit? Like Ned Stark and Jon Snow? Is this what they're trying to do? Like, what? Come on, like, there needs to be some context, surely, especially for the end of the movie, the end of the saga. You can't throw these questions out and not give any context to them. I don't know. Ahsoka was just a voice. Yeah, he said that. Palp's going on Jerry Springer. How's the space battles? Any good? Yeah, the space battles are great fun. The action of this film is very good. It's very, very action adventure-y. If you're there for a mindless romp across the galaxy, it's fun. And like I said, the second viewing earlier in the stream, my second viewing, I sat there and I enjoyed it. But that's because I went in mindlessly. I wasn't thinking this is the ending of the biggest saga ever. This is just another action movie. And if you go into it thinking like that, then yeah, it's fun. It's entertaining. Unfortunately, George Lucas wanted to do a sequel to Trilogy on Midichlorians. I don't think that would... I mean, it would have been innovative. It would have been different. Which is what George Lucas always intends to do, right? Like, his goal with these films is to make something unique and something special. Anakin balanced his checkbook. James Carmichael, welcome to the stream, dude. JJ said he hated the prequels. Did he actually say that? I prefer the Dark Empire comics over Rise of Skywalker. That's not really a big issue. They don't need to reuse the music. I mean, when you're playing all the prequel music in the trailers and you're constantly alluding to how this is the big combination, the big tying together of all three trilogies, you expect some prequel music to be in there, and it's not. It's not. Like, there was a point at the end where Palpatine is got all these people, these thousands of people, all in robes, and they're just chanting in what's like some sort of fucking Colosseum. And he's like, my disciples, my humble servants, while they're all sitting there chanting away. And they started chanting what felt like, for a split second, Duel of the Fates. And I thought, yes, like, get some Duel of the Fates music in, which would have been a good time to put Duel of the Fates in. And then it just stops, and they start humming again. And I was just left disappointed. So, Ben Solo, his character arc was just trash. His redemption was completely unwarranted. The title... by the way, when I say unwarranted, I wanted Ben Solo to have some kind of redemption. Like, his story was always leading to that. But it's not earned. It's not earned in this film. The romance between Rey and Ben, it's not earned in this film. There's nothing to suggest that they're in love. Like, she fucking hates him. She hates Kylo Ren. And I don't see how she can love Ben Solo because she barely knows him. Like, there could have been some sort of explanation to this, some progression. But there isn't. It's just 1 minute they hate each other, the next minute they love each other. But, like, where's that progression? Where's the story? I feel now that all is done. You can watch what you want, leave it out what you don't. You can separate the trilogies from each other. Possibly. It was forced, yeah. The kiss at the end of the film. It was ridiculous. It's absolutely... The ending of the movie was absolutely ridiculous. Just to remind you guys, this film is called The Rise of Skywalker. Not only does the movie end with every single Skywalker dead, right? Not only does the movie end with absolutely no Skywalker having any input in the ending, it's all on Palpatine's. Kylo Ren doesn't have a single piece of dialogue. And this isn't a lie, by the way, guys. Kylo doesn't say a single thing once he's redeemed. Doesn't say a single word in the whole film. He's redeemed, he goes to Rey and dies. Not a single piece of dialogue. You're kidding me, right? None. There's a big scene at the end where he's fighting the Knights of Ren. By the way, the Knights of Ren, pointless. They're in this film for around 30 seconds at most. And they literally do absolutely nothing. Like, you could probably take them out of this film and the film won't change. You could just throw Sith troopers in there or stormtroopers and the film doesn't change at all. But the ending, Kylo goes sprinting. By the way, they have this massive fight on the Death Star, and Rey leaves him for dead, basically, stranded on this planet. But hang on a second, he's just been redeemed. The Millennium Falcon is just over there with Chewie in it. You're thinking, oh, okay, we might get a little bit of juice here. Like, maybe Finn's gonna take him prisoner, and then they're gonna have a bit of a thing with Chewie and Ben, and then maybe Ben flies the Falcon to Exegol. Ben Solo, not Kylo Ren anymore. He's in the cockpit with Chewbacca, just like his father. He's taken the persona of Ben Solo again, and he's going to fucking save Rey. No, that doesn't happen. He just miraculously appears on Exegol. And then they pan over, and there's a TIE fighter. So it turns out he's taken a TIE fighter from a 30-year-old Death Star wreckage and flown that to Exegol. And then he sprints and he runs and he runs.
It was like staring into the heart of the Force.
There's just got a notification. Black Dynamite donated $2. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate the donation and channel support, dude. Thank you so much. If oranges are oranges, why aren't lemons yellow? That's a top question. But as J.J. Abrams would say, that's a question for another time. Yeah, so he goes, but thank you, dude. He goes running to save Rey, and there's no dialogue. First and foremost, he doesn't talk to the Emperor. There's absolutely nothing. He goes to save Rey. He picks up. He's got so Rey's got Leia's lightsaber. He takes Luke's lightsaber, and they're standing side by side in front of the Emperor. The Skywalker, the last Skywalker, and Palpatine's blood. And I'm thinking, all right, this film has been absolute dog shit so far. Finally, we're gonna get like some juicy action at the end, some themes, just something, right? Like the blood of Palpatine rejects him to join with his sworn enemy, to bring him down. Like, that's thematic. That would have been thematic, but nope. No. Ben runs up there, holds the lightsaber, looks all cool. Palpatine yeets them both towards him, right? And by the way, this is decrepit, like, could barely move his fingers Palpatine. Just completely fucking controls them, pulls them to him, and then starts draining the life force out of them. Okay. And then this is explained by, oh, well, they're dyads in the Force, and this only comes around once in a generation, or whatever that was, or 1,000 generations. And this dyad allows him to regenerate his body. Sorry, what is this dyad nonsense? Where was this? Why is this just suddenly miraculously appeared at the end of the film? Why is there no context to it? Why are these two dyads? When did they become dyads? What is a dyad in the first place? Want some explanation? Nope. Just a bit of throwaway dialogue. You are dyads in the Force, and now I can consume your life. Like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for Thanks for the information, Sheev. And I'm just sitting there like, okay. And then Ben gets up after having his life force drained while Rey's just laying there all like dying. And I shit you not, Palpatine yeets him with a force push into an abyss. The leaks were absolutely spot on, by the way, guys. Yeets him into a bush, not a bush, fucking bush, into a pit, into a hole in the ground. That's it. And then when Rey finally has her big moment and all of the Jedi voices are like, you can do this, Rey, it's all on you. By the way, this is the rise of Skywalker, not the rise of fucking Palpatine. She takes, the Emperor is literally sitting there with lightning in his hands, shooting the sky, right? This massive fleet of hundreds, thousands upon, no, more than thousands, it looks like hundreds of thousands of ships, all from around the galaxy, the Resistance and people rising up to fight the First Order. He completely disables thousands upon thousands upon thousands of ships. Just stand there with his hands in the air cackling as this lightning pings out and EMPs all of these ships. And then he looks down at Rey, who's holding the lightsaber of Luke Skywalker. Or Leia. And then she literally just stands there. Like, there's no struggle. It's not like this is Palpatine by looking like he's in his element. And this is the same Palpatine that has just like obliterated so many ships you can't even count. Starts force lightning in her, and she just stands there, super chill. No, like she's not struggling. Like there's more struggle from Mace Windu in Revenge of the Sith. She just stands there, and he's like, "Oh, you cannot win. I am all the Sith." And I'm thinking, okay, what? You're what? He's like, yes, I'm all the Sith that ever lived. They're all in me. And I'm like, so what? So every Sith is now you? What's going on? So what, now Sith spirits do live through people? So the whole established law of that Sith cannot become spirits or Force ghosts is completely just disregarded, and they're all Palpatine. How can you just throw a bit of dialogue like that in the end of the film with no explanation? And then as he's lightning her, shooting lightning at her, she then force pulls the legacy lightsaber to her. Why this would make any difference to her strength is beyond me. And she starts walking towards him, and then he literally just disintegrates into nothing. I'm just sitting there like, what? Like, it's cool. It's very, very fun to watch. And seeing Sheev going absolutely ham with the lightning, and he's looking like Revenge of the Sith Sheev, with the glowing eyes and the hood. Why doesn't he just stop shooting lightning at her? Why is he allowing her to walk towards him to redirect this lightning to his death? Why does he just not stop and force push her into the abyss as well? I'm just sitting there like, what is this trash? Like, it's trash. The story, the plot is trash. 501st Clone, I don't know, I love the movie. I'm really glad you enjoyed it, dude. The film sounds like everything I don't want a Star Wars movie to be. It's very, very much so, yeah. I don't know. Kerem Karaoglu, I can't pronounce your name, I'm so sorry, Kerem. I'm filthy rich and can't afford to see the new Star Wars. Would be worse than throwing money in the toilet. I mean, I've paid for it twice. I don't regret seeing it twice. The second time was a lot better. But it's still ridiculous. And I can sit here and say it's enjoyable, but at the same time it is a complete disregard to the original trilogy, complete disregard to the Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I honestly came out of this film thinking Rian Johnson is a fucking genius. Like, he managed to do something with Star Wars that nobody else had done. Like, I watched The Last Jedi before The Rise of Skywalker. I watched the triple bill, and it just made me appreciate The Last Jedi. The pacing of The Last Jedi is smooth. It moves so smoothly, and it's cohesive. And yeah, there's bullshit in The Last Jedi, but it's not dog shit like The Rise of Skywalker. Oh god. This movie consumed my life. Honestly, that's how I felt. Pepito sends his regards. Send my regards to Pepito. You cancelled your tickets after you heard the ending. Worst whining ever. Theodore Onaheim, unsubbed. I am so very sorry that you don't like hearing a negative opinion. I will totally miss you. Steve M, welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you. The Rise of Sheev. Honestly, the title Rise of Palpatine is so like it's not. What am I looking for here? It's not real. It's not relevant. I don't know where they've got this title from. Like, have they listened to Snoke's wording in the original, in The Force Awakens, where he's like, the new Skywalkers will rise? Has he taken it from the title crawl, kind of like how Rian Johnson did with The Force Awakens? Like, where have they got this title, The Rise of Skywalker? And as I was saying with the ending, so Rey's killed Palpatine by deflecting his lightning. You would have thought he would learn to just stop shooting it at this point. But no, apparently not. She then just dies. Like, she didn't get hit by the lightning. She didn't get hit by anything. She was absolutely fine. Obviously, she had a life essence drained from her. But she got up and she was chill. And she was quite happy to fight Emperor Palpatine, who has supposedly rejuvenated and reborn and can obliterate entire fleets with lightning. She's powerful enough to get up and do that. But then she just hits the ground and dies. And I thought, you know what? Okay, if she dies here, it could be worse. But it just then turns into lunacy. Ben climbs out of the abyss, out of this big giant hole in the ground, goes up to her body and starts, getting all upset, and then transfers his life essence from himself to her, kills himself, essentially, kisses her, and kills himself. And I'm just watching this thinking, why? Why did he just kill himself? Where is the rise of Skywalker? So Luke is dead. Leia dies in the film to save Ben. The whole reason Ben redeems himself or becomes to the conclusion that he needs to change is due to Leia's sacrifice. And so Leia's dead and Ben's dead. They're all dead. And they do nothing. They do nothing to bring about the end of the Sith. Kylo Ren does nothing. He just dies. He saves Rey, who does it all and dies. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I've heard that there's 6 other endings to this. And I've read plot leaks of some of these endings, some of them being that he falls into the abyss. And the lady at the end of the film who asks who Rey is, apparently that was supposed to be Ben. Like, I'm just very... I don't get it, right? I really don't get it. Because there's no rising of any Skywalkers in this film. And Rey... The thing is with Rey is that it could have been so thematic. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, like, the blood of Palpatine coming back to save the last Skywalker, rejecting the Emperor's plans for her, over the course of time of her becoming the Empress, rejects the dark side that she's been struggling with throughout the film, which again is totally unwarranted. It's like Rey can't have her own issues. And this is something I noticed in the film. Rey can't be evil or struggle with her own demons because she's Rey. No, it's because she's Palpatine's granddaughter. And why can't Rey just be like have evil tendencies for the sake of it? Why can't she have these dark side tendencies because she just has? Why does it need to be because she's Palpatine's granddaughter? But either way, I think it would have been thematic if, you know, if it then and then it ended. So she saves Ben. Saves Ben. This is how I think it should have gone. She saves Ben. So she brings about the end of her grandfather, the end of all of his scheming, by joining with his sworn enemy, his ultimate enemy in the Skywalkers. And then at the end, she basically throws the Palpatine name in the dirt and says, I am not a Palpatine, I am a Skywalker. That's the biggest insult to Sheev Palpatine. Not in the way like, oh, it's bad storytelling. Like, that's the way to fucking destroy his legacy as this evil monster, is to literally throw it in the dirt in the name of Skywalker. But that doesn't happen. Ben dies, and then she just decides to go to Tatooine, bury the lightsabers, and say she's a Skywalker. But you're not a Skywalker. You haven't earned that title. Why have you even taken that title? Why are Luke and Leia watching over her as Force ghosts at the hut on Tatooine? Why? Where is Ben as a Force ghost? Where's Anakin? Where's all these people that helps her get to where she is? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I really, really don't. How I wish it ended. Ben honors his father by becoming the new Captain Falcon. Rey resists Anakin lightsaber on the shrine, steps back to show Broom Boy after the Last Jedi. Get online, but who is Palpatine's son or daughter? There's no explanation. He just manages to have no relevance in the story and then gets stabbed by some creature that also has absolutely no relevance in the story. Absolutely no relevance in the story. It's a tragedy. It honestly is. It really, really is a tragedy. Ben Solo, it's not a tragedy in a good way either. It's just a tragic storytelling. It feels very out of place. Yeah, it does. And in that, you'd expect there to be some explanation of why this has happened. But nope, it just is. By the way, there's 40 of you in the stream. If you haven't yet, I'd greatly appreciate if you hit the like button or the dislike button if you're not enjoying this impression. It helps me out a great deal. I don't think you guys realize how much a like helps channels and helps videos. So if you haven't yet, please scroll over to that like button and give it a quick click. This is essentially, yeah, Superboy Lily, you're right. It's the fall of Skywalker. It really is. It's the fall of Skywalker. The end of Skywalker. It's nothing about rising. It really isn't. It's an insult to the Skywalkers. Yeah, and not in the good way that it should have been an insult to the Palpatines. It's just an insult to the Skywalker name and an insult to the Skywalker story. So I'm left kind of bewildered with it, to be honest with you. Rey could have sacrificed herself for Kylo Ren. I 100% agree with you. That could have been and it would have been better than the one they chose. If Rey died for Kylo, and then Kylo is the one that ends the Emperor, with the help of his grandfather. Like, that would have been so much better. So much better. The Palpatine sacrifices herself, rejects the dark side, rejects Palpatine, sacrifices herself for Ben, who then rises from the ashes, finishes the job with the help of Anakin, who is now talking. It's not Palpatine manipulating him anymore. It would have actually been Anakin. And he is the one that ends it all. And he is the one that survives. And his legacy then continues from that. That would have been the rise of Skywalker. But no, they had to have Rey, the poster girl of the movie, of the trilogy, be the one that survives and takes the name. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense to me. Kylo should actually be the one to make the play instead of Rey. Yep, I agree. Patrick, coming out of the cinema, I thought it was a compilation of all the other biggest entertainment franchises. I just like Game of Thrones. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. You think Jon Snow is going to be the hero of this story? The rise of Skywalker? The prince that was promised? Nope, it's Arya Stark. Nope, it's Rey Palpatine. Like, oh. So what about all this build-up and all this progression? And what about the title of the fucking film? Nope. Gotcha. It's actually Rey. Oh, okay. James Rowe, welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you for the first time. I feel like if you look at the sequels as a separate trilogy, they work kinda. But as 9 movies, it ruins the whole story. Did Finn get any story? He was my favourite of the heroes. Not really, no. John Boyega said in interviews that his backstory is delved into. It's not at all. There's literally nothing about Finn in this film. Absolutely nothing. He has more of a presence on screen. And another thing that they've tried to do in this film is insinuate that Finn is a Force user. Like, he can sense Rey is dead. He can sense... there's a massive cop-out in the writing, and I just thought it was ridiculous. They go to Exegol, and to stop the fleet being able to rise out of the system, they have to destroy these command towers. And instead of destroying the command tower, the final order, as they're called, just relay that into one of the capital ships. And Finn stands there after they do it and goes, "That's the one." And you're just like, how do you know that? And then he goes, "It's a feeling." And I'm just like, what? Like, how lazy do you have to be? And the same thing with the final order that doesn't make any sense whatsoever is that they relay one signal from a single point. So in this case, the command tower, and then later in the film, the command ship. How comes each individual ship can't just relay this signal to itself? Why does there have to be one massive signal so that all the ships will get obliterated? Why can't each individual ship have a signal that allows itself to fly? Very confusing. Very confusing. But no, Ares. Finn was... There was a moment at the end of the film where Finn is like really emotional, and it's great acting from John Boyega. But it was... No. And it's the same with Poe. It's just... It's not... The whole dynamic is just not good. There's no story arcs in this film. It's just point A to point B. It's just a treasure chase. They're just looking for treasure. We got to go to this place to find the Wayfinder. Then we need to go to this place to find the dagger, and then we need to go to this place to translate the dagger because C-3PO can't translate Sith. Then we need to go to this place to find this and this place. Like, it's just... We need to go to this place to find Chewie. I don't know. And then the whole thing about these final order ships having Death Star weapons. Thousands of ships having Death Star weapons. What was the point of the fucking Death Star? What was the point of Starkiller Base? What was the point of any of it? If you can just stick a Death Star weapon on a Star Destroyer. What's the point? Starkiller Base made a little bit more sense. Right? The Empire had started from the original... the original days consuming Ilum. From before the movies, they were already constructing Ilum, converting Ilum into this weapon, and the First Order take that over. That makes more sense. It's still a bit lazy. We're going to copy the Death Star and have another super weapon, but from a story perspective, it makes sense. But then, all of a sudden, 2 years later, they have Death Star weapons on every single ship. Like, J.J. Abrams, come on. Kathleen Kennedy, come on. Chris Terrio, come on. Like, you're not stupid. You guys know how to tell a story. Well, after this, I'm not sure if they do. I really don't. Let's hope the actors won't be harassed I think they did an amazing job despite the horrible script. Yes, they did. Adam Driver was absolutely incredible in this film. His ability to actually make something happen with such shit is really, really impressive. The scenes with Kylo, the emotional scenes with Kylo were so good. And Daisy Ridley does a good job as well. John Boyega does a good job. And so does Oscar Isaac. And as I said, Sheev, Ian McDiarmid does a fantastic job as Sheev again. And if anything, he's so villainous and so menacing in this movie. He's really, really good. But it's just bad. Like, how can you write the main character of the film? He gets redeemed. He finally overcomes his demons. And you don't give him a single piece of dialogue from that moment until he dies. What? Like, it's laughable. It's laughable. Let me just read the chat. Internet is going to crash with theories about who got it on with Palpatine. Yeah, there'll be theories. It'll end up being a theory about how it was Padme or something. He seduced Padme. Like, there'll be everything under the sun. You just know it's coming. Stian Dolstro, I can't pronounce your name, dude. I'm really sorry. But welcome to the stream. The transition between the scenes when Kylo found the Exegol Wayfinder in the beginning was insane, though. The red dot yeah, I loved it. I mentioned it when we started this stream. The beginning is really, really good. The cinematography, the sound, the audio, like the introduction of Sheev, it's fantastic. It's really, really, really good. Let's hope the actors won't be. I read that. Is there a Mrs. Palpatine? Yeah. Some Star Wars here and there and a bit of National Treasure, the Da Vinci Code. Yeah, bit of Star Wars, bit of the Da Vinci Code, a bit of Indiana Jones in there maybe. Yes. Yeah. I knew JJ would pull the Death Star card. I honestly thought JJ would be better than that. I really did. Biggest letdown for me was Finn never became a Jedi. Maybe not a Jedi, but a secondary one. I mean, that's hinted at the film, right, Aries? It's hinted that Finn can use the Force, and that's another thing that's hinted in the film is Finn and Rey's relationship. Finn is in love with Rey, and he clearly wants to tell her and wants to express that to her at the beginning of the movie, and then it's just dropped. He never mentions it again, which is a massive shame because I was always a Finn Rey shipper. I always wanted Finn and Rey to be the couple of the film. And it's like it's hinted at that Finn is in love with her, but then it's just thrown in the trash. You're angry. I mean, I'm not angry. I'm just baffled. Is it true that KK based Rey off of herself? I've not heard that one before. Honestly, no. Do we get the Old Republic from here? You know, there's one thing that I noticed in the film. They said, so this dyad thing is about a force bond between two people. And it's literally the life force of the Force. This is why Sheev's capable of regenerating himself. And he said, a bond like this hasn't been seen for thousands of generations. And my first thought in that moment was, that should be Revan and Bastila. The last dyad in the Force, the last major Force bond should be Revan and Bastila. That was my initial thought as soon as he said that. You love the fact that Chewie got a medal, and it was even more emotional that it was Leia's. It was Leia's medal that she had on her deathbed. That was sweet. Who is the old lady at the end? Could she be Rey's grandmother? She's just a random woman on some creature. I thought maybe it would be that girl that has a crush on Luke in A New Hope. I completely forget her name. But there's a girl in the deleted scenes that Luke hangs around with. I thought maybe it was her. But there's no indication at all. Axel, welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you. I'm imagining this review with the toy figure of Palpatine like in the background in all scenes. I mean, Palpatine looks great in this film. I don't get why they've used toys for the promotional art. I really don't. Kylo did what Vader started in a way, saving the one he loved, but that's a very loose connection. Yeah, he did, but it's still dumb that it's called The Rise of Skywalker when they kill him off and he does absolutely nothing. It's dumb. It's really dumb. I briefly considered Towson, but she died. Really? Towson? Superboy Lily, can we stream a game? I'm not streaming any games today. I'm just talking about KOTOR, hence the title of the stream. About KOTOR, about Rise of Skywalker. I hated that Chewbacca doesn't die when Rey shot the shuttle down with lightning. You know what? I think that would have been a very, 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 very strong thing if they did that, and that would have been bold if they killed Chewbacca. By the way, that scene, I loved it. Like, it's things like that in the film that really piss me off, because there's moments like that just so damn cool. So it says she does like a full-on Star Killer thing, and all this time, all of the story group and everybody surrounding Star Wars has been like, the Force doesn't work like that. You can't do things like that with the Force, pulling ships out of the sky. Like, that's just video game stuff. Well, Rey does it in this film. So the First Order captured Chewbacca, and they're flying away, and Finn's screaming at Rey like, Chewie's in there, and she grabs onto the ship that's trying to propulse away, and she's pulling it down. She's like yanking this thing down. And then Kylo gets out of his shuttle because she's just cut the wing off. And he walks over and he grabs the other side. And they're like they're yanking this ship. They're like tearing it apart. Like pulling it between each other, trying to take it from one another. And then Rey is getting really angry. Like, this is Chewie. This is one of her best friends on this ship. And Kylo is trying to kill him and take him. And she's pulling this thing and really tapping into the dark side, and all of a sudden, like, a sound comes from her hands, and then it lights up, and this bolt of lightning just comes out of her hands and obliterates the ship. Like, what a moment that would have been if Chewie was on that ship and Chewie did die. It would have been probably a big disservice to Chewie, but that would have been a massive emotional catalyst for Rey. Something she doesn't have in this film ever. So yeah, it's probably right. It's probably a missed opportunity there. In the end, I loved it. I didn't love it. I enjoyed it. It's like Attack of the Clones. Although Attack of the Clones has an actual plot that makes sense. But I can sit down after the second viewing. I can sit down. It's fun. It's stupid. But in terms of like actual plot, and if you're gonna take it seriously, don't, because then you won't enjoy it. You really won't. It feels like we can only go backwards. Possibly. Very, very possibly. The fact that Finn was kind of building a harem in the background rose that... Oh my god. I thought that Force Bond was from KOTOR too. Palpatine does some shagging. He does something. Don't worry, we've got great Doctor Who episodes with Jodie Whittaker. Yay! So we had Game of Thrones this year. Massive disappointment. Doctor Who last year. Massive disappointment. I have to look forward to more of it. Just, oh. Did they address the light speed atmosphere thing? What do you mean, Jude? What abouts do you mean with that? I still wanted more lightsaber duels in the trilogy, like Palpatine versus Kylo. Would easily beat him. Yeah, probably. I mean, the duel was okay. They tried to make it epic like Revenge of the Sith, but it just couldn't do it. It was too slow. There wasn't enough scenery to really make it as standout as any old duels, to be honest. Snoke should have been Darth Plagueis. If this is what they were going to do from the beginning with Palpatine coming back, I completely agree. Snoke should have been a third party, and he should have been Darth Plagueis. I got to admit, I was a bit disappointed when Rey didn't use her Force Lightning to kill Palps. That would have been cool, right? If like he was lightning and she took it in and then redirected it and started lightninging him too. It's a hard thing to say. That would have been cool. It would have been more cool than just her deflecting it with absolutely no trouble in the world, and then him just disintegrating into nothing. Oh god. The hyper whip. Oh, the light speed skipping. I thought that was stupid. I mean, I don't know if that's established in the law before this, or if it's been done in the EU. I honestly can't remember it off the top of my heart, but it looked really stupid in the film. It was cool, it was entertaining, but it was really stupid. Like, they light speed skip into this like industrial complex with all these things hanging out of the sky. Like, you could have crashed into that. And it's the same thing before that. They hyperspeed into some sort of like rocky structure. I'm just like, hang on a minute, like, isn't the whole point is you can't do that because you'll crash into a star, you crash into a planet? Yet they can easily do it in intervals, quick intervals, and not touch anything, even though there's so much around them that they could hit. Like, that didn't make sense. It said that light speed in atmosphere would tear apart the atmosphere. I'm trying to think if it. I can't remember if it was on atmosphere or not. I mean, one of the light speed skips, I think, has to be. It looked like it was on a planet. So I'm really not sure, Jude. I'm really not sure. Was double-bladed lightsaber Rey sharp at all? Was it just in the trailer? It's a vision. Rey has a vision of herself on the throne, on the Sith throne. And then she confronts that vision in the Death Star wreckage, which is a bit strange. Like, at this point in time, so this is the throne room of the Death Star. And there's just a room next to the throne room that has this Sith wayfinder in it. That surely had to be there all the time. Surely. I don't know. Unless someone's purposely gone back to the Death Star wreckage and put it there. Maybe the Sith acolytes that are, cheering Sheev as he's lightninging the sky. Maybe. I don't know. It was a lot worse than in Revenge of the Sith, but it was good story-wise. Kylo didn't want to kill her. It was Rey swinging a lightsaber at them. You think Duel was worse, Patrick? I mean, it was a lot slower. It was a less, flashy. It was more emotional. It was good. I'm not saying it's bad at all. The lightsaber duels in this film are good. They're not bad. They're entertaining. They're fun. Sorry, I'm so tired, guys. I've had 3 hours sleep in 2 days. I'm dying. I sort of wish Rian Johnson did this as well, so we could get more continuity with his vision. I agree with you. I wish either J.J. Abrams had written the film from the beginning, all three of them, the trilogy from the beginning, or Rian Johnson wrote the trilogy from the beginning. Just plan it. And this is something Disney have to learn. If they're going to make any trilogies or any stories with overarching narratives between films, they need to sit down at the very beginning and they need to map out every little detail. Not the script. They don't need the screenplay. They need the details of the story. They need a timeline. They need to map every little bit out. How this is going to happen. Why this is going to happen. Because at this point, it's just they've made it up as they've gone along. They really have. And it's not like a George Lucas level maker. George Lucas made some shit up. But there was a cohesion about his stuff as he went along. It still fit, it still connected, it still made sense. This trilogy doesn't make sense. It's just two directors, two writers vying over whose story is better. That's what it is, this whole trilogy. And it suffered because of that. Majorly. Why did they call it the Wayfinder instead of just a holocron with coordinates? I don't know. I really have no clue. I guess it's just an easier thing for the audience to understand. Wayfinder. Finding the way, I guess. Palpatine in this movie reminded me a lot of Valkorion. Yes. There was a lot of Valkorian vibes in this film, especially his intent. You know, all this, I am the Sith live in me, and I want to become you, and we'll be as one. Like, that was very, very, very shitty. That's horrible, Patrick. I'm so sorry to hear that. Is this the end of Kathleen Kennedy? Look, Kathleen Kennedy has made some good films. She made Rogue One. She produced Rogue One. Fantastic movie. She produced The Force Awakens. Fantastic movie. The Last Jedi. Fantastic movie. Individually fantastic movies. She produced Solo. Fantastic movie. But I just don't feel like Kathleen has a fucking clue. Like, I don't harbor any hatred for Kathleen Kennedy, and if she stays on, cool. But I just don't think she gets it. I don't think she gets Star Wars. Now, I'm not one of these people that's like, get Dave Filoni as president of Lucasfilm. Like, no, Dave Filoni is not. He's not the president of Lucasfilm, but someone else, someone who really gives a shit and has the credibility as well. Because it just feels like Kathleen doesn't have a clue what she's doing. It really doesn't. She's just making every film as she goes along. She's taking a lot of creative control away from independent directors. I just don't know. I really don't. Sauzus, welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you here for the first time. Is it worth going to cinemas to watch? Yes, it is. It is. This is very much you either love it or you hate it, I think. This is going to be the general consensus among the fandom. It's either going to be the most loved film or it's going to be the most hated. Sequels don't have good memes. Oh, I disagree with you there. The sequels do have good memes. They do. Hopefully it's the end of her career. No. Like I said, she's a good filmmaker. She's a good producer. Producer. I just don't think she's the right person to be heading a major franchise. I think she's more of an individual film producer. I think she can take an individual story and turn it into gold, but I don't think she can lead something like Lucasfilm. I really don't. She would not make more films like Rogue One. This is a shame. Kennedy lost me at no source material. Yeah. Like, I even defended Kathleen Kennedy when she said that. Because the truth is, like, in this, they're creating an original story. And there is no source material in that regard. But if you're struggling to come up with a cohesive story that people love, like, you've got so much already. Like, take inspiration from that. I didn't see any inspiration from Legends in Rise of Skywalker, apart from Palpatine. But even then, it's not taken from Legends, I guess. If the lightsaber fights are any good, you can get some. Yeah, the action, Sources. The action is great fun. The lightsaber fights are great. The ship battles are really good. The action is very intense, and the film is very non-stop. Like, there's barely any room to breathe in the film. It's point A, point B, point C, point D very, very quickly, very, very intensely. So if you want a fun romp across the galaxy, then it's a good film in that regard. Another part of the problem is that the trilogy was rushed. The other trilogies had 3 years between each individual movie. I wouldn't say they're rushed. I just don't think they had a plan. If they had a plan from the beginning, then 2 years is fine. It's absolutely fine. Is this really going to be the Marmite of Star Wars? I think it will be. I think it will be the Marmite of Star Wars, yeah. Stian, I'm kind of hoping for standalone Poe movie now to get some. You see, I don't care after the Rise of Skywalker. I don't care about Poe. I really don't. I don't care about any of the side characters from the Rise of Skywalker. I don't care. Maybe Finn. I'm curious to see what will happen with Finn and his Force potency. Zori Bliss, don't care. Rose, don't care. Janna and Lando. By the way, Lando was completely pointless, like completely pointless in this film. Might as well have not been in it. Don't care about him or Janna. Maz Kanata, don't care. I just don't care about any of these characters. Apart from Kylo Ren, and they killed him. And maybe a little bit of Rey. But they ended her story ridiculously. If only they worked together. Is Kevin Feige the chosen one? I mean, let's be honest. He's not. What is Kevin Feige doing? Is he working on one film? Kevin Feige would probably be a better. If he's someone who cares about Star Wars the way he cares about Marvel, I honestly probably think. Oh, so sorry. I think he'd be a better choice to be the president. I really do. They had a plan. Make money, which they did. That's absolutely right. They did. Very much so. I think that the deal with the acquisition of rights to Star Wars has paid for itself. Yeah, it has, yeah. I mean, Rogue, the four films, Rogue One, Last Jedi, and The Force Awakens, all paid for that already. Or Wedge, who appeared for one second. Yeah, exactly. Yay, Wedge is in the film for 0.2 of a second. Did they make Rey less of a Mary Sue? I never thought Rey was a Mary Sue, personally. And there's a lot more context to why she is so powerful in this movie. And that's because she is a Palpatine. So, if she was a Mary Sue for being nobody in the previous movies, then this movie kind of answers that for you and says, no, she's not Mary Sue. She is always destined. She's a dyad in the Force. She is one of two. She was always destined to be this powerful because of her blood. Snap Wexley died, yeah. Episode 8 made it seem like Darth Plagueis created Rey and Snoke allowed Kylo Ren to kill him so he fulfills Anakin's destiny of letting the past die. It made sense. It did make more sense. How many big actors they got back for two voices. Exactly. Samuel Jackson, Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Ashley Eckstein playing Ahsoka. Even Kanan. The most ridiculous thing about the voices in the past was Luminara Unduli was one of the voices. I think Luminara was the last voice to be heard. She said the last thing. Luminara? Most people are going to think, who the fuck is she? Most people are thinking, who is this voice? I've never heard this voice before. And there was a couple of others in there that also people probably never heard of. Kanan as well. Kanan? Really? What? Why? Was it Adigalia? Jesus Christ. Ayla Sakura? Ayla Sakura! I'm not even kidding you. I saw a tweet of a picture that said Jennifer Hale was credited in this film as one of the voices from the past, and I thought, no fucking way.
Revan was power.
Have they?
It was like staring into the heart of the Force. They added the
slightest little hint to KOTOR, and they've had Bastila Shan be one of the voices in the past with Jennifer Hale. Nope, she voices Ayla Sakura. I don't know. Also, I just missed your name, dude, but thank you for subscribing if you're in the stream. Thank you so much for joining the community. I'm in a very strange place with this film. And maybe it will get better over time. Maybe. Exactly. She gets 2 seconds. 2 seconds in the prequels. Nothing. It would have made more sense if it was Shaq T. At least she dies 50 million different times. Right? It would have made more sense if it was the Bendu. It would have made more sense if it was Ezra. But I assume that means he's still alive. It would have made more sense if it was Kiari-Mundi. Like, Luminara, Ayla Secura, Adigalia. Who are these people? To 90% of fans, who are they? Why are you here? I don't know. I really don't. Oh. This film is just a mindfuck. It's just a mindfuck. It really is. It really is. But yeah, I think. I mean, I will. I think I will do a proper review where I release it down and write out my thoughts. Over the coming days. But those are. If you've been here since the beginning, I don't know who's still in the stream. It'd be pretty cool with the sound off. Like, who's still in the stream at the moment? It'd be really cool to see who's still here. If you've been here from the beginning, then say so. Obviously, Hombre's been here for a while. Marvin, of course, has been here for a while. James Rowe, you've been here for a good while. Who's been here since the beginning of the stream? Natasha's still here. Of course, Natasha's still here. She's always here. I would have rather heard the voice of Juhani than hear Luminara and Ayla Secura. Oklahoman Mapper's here. Chillin'. Alexandra's still here. Thank you for still being with me, Alexandra. You've been here for the beginning, pretty much. Thank you so much. And I don't think I said... Did I say hello to you, Alexandra, at the beginning? I can't remember. I think I might have missed you. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Jude Boone. Nice. James is still here. Love the stream. Will be returning. I mean... Thank you for not being the other dude who come into the stream. You're whining. Unsubscribed. Yes, I'm whining because I'm pissed off. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Aries. I really am glad. Also, James Earl Jones. Vader, 3 words. Exactly. Hayden Christensen. 3 lines. The most important character in all of Star Wars gets 3 lines at the end of it. Seba Corsair. I don't recognize your name, dude. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Kaizia, welcome to the stream again. Nice to see you, dude. Nice to see you. Oof. I don't know. I really don't know. But if you haven't yet, guys, I assume most of you have subscribed, but if you haven't, hit the notification bell so when I bring up the actual review of the video, you are very much notified. Stian, I love how you're going through every chat message. I do my best. I really do. And I'm so tired at the moment, so if I've missed any of your messages or any of your questions, I apologize. But I have tried. How can I end this stream? I'm really tired. My friends are begging me to play a game with them for a little while. I've got food that's freezing cold downstairs because I've been streaming. Yes, if you haven't yet, guys, there's 33 of you in the stream. Thank you all for coming by. I really, really do appreciate you listening to me. Steve, for God's sake, I've got to answer another question. Steve M, what happens with R2? R2 fucking D2 is basically not in the film. R2-D2, the most integral droid in the Star Wars universe, does nothing. He beeps a couple of times and that's it. Fuck's sake, J.J. Abrams. Come on. Ugh. But hey, at least C-3PO gets half the film to be important. I don't give a shit about C-3PO. I never have done. I hate C-3PO. I always have done. But my boy R2-D2, my boy, is disregarded like a piece of trash. Thank you for reminding me, by the way, Steve, because I completely missed that in this stream. R2-D2 is fucking ruined. How they did R2-D2 so dirtily in this trilogy is just sickening. R2-D2. The Rise of Skywalker, the final entry in the Skywalker saga, and R2-D2 does absolutely nothing. He was on the screen for about 10 seconds. Yes, let's get some Fs in the chat. Please, get some Fs in the chat for my boy R2-D2. Because clearly he was not important. Let's get some Fs in the chat for Anakin Skywalker as well, ladies and gentlemen. He's only the most important character in the Star Wars universe. The most integral character in George Lucas' Star Wars. He doesn't have any impact in killing the Emperor. Never did. His impact in the original trilogy, pointless. But hey, at least Rey got her moment with those twin sons, with BB-8 next to her. Sauzus, what happened to Anakin in the movie? Nothing. That's what happened to Anakin. The Emperor comes back. He's not dead. Anakin's sacrifice, Anakin's redemption in the original trilogy is completely shat on. And his contribution in this film is to just say, bring balance to the Force, Rey, like I did. That's all he does in this film. And it's just a disembodied voice. Yes. It's just... I couldn't believe it. Hayden Christensen had to be in this film. Anakin Skywalker had to be an integral part of bringing down the Emperor. Even if it was just to be that last push. Like, think about it. Let's go back to that idea that was brought up a little bit earlier with Kylo Ren being the one to bring down the Emperor. Rey sacrifices herself. The Palpatine that's going to bring about the rise of the Sith throws away her lineage of Palpatine, sacrifices herself for the Emperor's sworn enemy, a Skywalker, and Ben Solo rises from the ashes and is in this lock with the Emperor. But he's struggling, right? The Emperor is too strong. And how good would it have been if Anakin Skywalker just puts his Force ghostly hand on Ben's shoulder and just adds a little something to that moment. And as he's struggling, he sees his grandfather for the first time, not Palpatine's manipulations, and Anakin pushes him, it gives him a boost. Like, that would have been so much stronger. So much better. So much better. Kaiser, you have to go see it regardless of reviews. Yes, this is one thing I'm stressing, by the way, guys. Just because my opinion isn't wholly positive, please go and see the movie yourself. Because there are people out there that are saying it's incredible. And even some of my friends are saying it's really, really good. So go and make your own opinion. Don't judge the movie based on what I've said or what anybody said. This is just how I feel. Go out there, watch the film, make your own opinion, then come back and tell me how you feel about it. Robert Rivera, welcome to the stream, dude. Nice to see you here. I think that you're over-exaggerating. He did his part, and now Rey did a lightsaber in the next walk, and bada bing, bada boom. You can't expect her to lift him and throw him down a hole. I don't know if that's sarcasm, Patrick, but he did his part, yeah, definitely. Definitely. How comes Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin never knew that Palpatine was alive? I don't know, it's never explained. Who knows? But Luke and Leia knew that Rey was a Palpatine all this time. Leia always knew that she was a Palpatine, so did Luke, apparently. So, okay. And Luke was always looking for Exegol, apparently. So his apparent hunting for the Jedi Temple on Ahch-To was also in contrast to him hunting for Exegol. And I can only assume he was hunting for Exegol because he assumed the Emperor was still alive. But again, none of it's explained. It's just throwaway dialogue. Yeah, they couldn't. Yeah, Rey was. She's the poster child of the film. She is the sequel trilogy. I feel like if Rian Johnson had control of this film, Rey would have died. And it would have been Kylo Ren that was rising. They couldn't have made Rey die because she's the hero. Yeah, exactly. The Soul That 064. I actually enjoyed the Han Solo scene. So did I, dude. So did I. Part of me wanted that to be Anakin, but now I think about the second time. Now I think about it, Han Solo makes a lot more sense for Ben Solo as a character. And that when he's standing there, like almost in the verge of tears, and he calls him Dad, like that hit me. That hit me hard. Like that was emotional shit. And Adam Driver is so fucking good, so good. And even with trash, he does a fantastic job. But that was one moment between Han and Ben, and it was really nice seeing Harrison come back. And it was one of the best parts of the film. Hombre, yeah, please do, dude. Please do. In my opinion, it'll be the last film you'll see in theaters. I'm only going to say it's The Force Awakens, the last movie I saw with your mum. I'm very sorry your mum passed away, dude. And definitely do that. That's a good thing for you, I think, to bring closure to it. If that was the thing you did together, so I definitely recommend going to see it. Tom, I'm tired as well, dude. I really am. Adam Driver's the best part of the sequel. Yes, he really is. There's this retcons Luke's line about seeing Rey's power once before. I assume so. I assume that quote indirectly means that he saw Ben's power and he's scared of a Palpatine's power. I can only assume. I really can. Anyway, guys, I'm getting really ridiculously tired at this point. I don't really know what more to say. If you haven't yet, please hit the like button. It helps me out a great deal. I don't think you guys realize how much it helps me, but please hit that like button. If you haven't yet, please come and join the Discord server. If you want to talk more about this movie with me and plenty of other Star Wars fans, please come by and have a chat. I'd love to have you here. It's 100% Star Wars. Please come and join the Discord server. Additionally, if you haven't, please come and follow me on Twitter, where I am currently raging about this film. So please come and follow me there. And also follow me on Instagram. But until the next video, guys, until the review or the next video, if I decide that I can't be bothered to do it, there won't be any streams next week. It's Christmas, obviously. And I'm not sure about the week after, as it's New Year's. But honestly, guys, this will probably be a goodbye for 2019. I think the end of this year has been a bit of a resurgence for the channel. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the more consistent content, the consistent streaming, and hopefully we can move that into the new year with even more content and even more good stuff. But I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me through this last year of barrenness. And yeah, I love you all. Thank you so much for being patient with me. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys in the new year. I hope you all have a great Christmas and great holidays with your families. And good night, guys.